Hello, my name is Stephanie Larson, and the strategy that I chose to talk about today is called the SLANT strategy. So we'll talk about the benefits of it and what it is and how we can use it in our classroom. So the importance and purpose of the SLANT strategy, it's to help students actively engage in class. So help them to participate more, help them with their body language, so that they can get more out of class and that they can remember the material better as well. So it helps students to be cognitively as well as verbally active. And this in turn will help them to get more out of the content, learn more in class, and help them to remember the material better. And that way it makes, you can see this on their tests or when they're talking. And it also leads to positive interactions with the teacher and the students. And we've often seen that that leads to better quality education as well. We'll talk about the cognitively and verbally, how that helps, in a little bit when we define what SLANT is and how to use it in the classroom. Another benefit is that SLANT really helps students in all classroom settings. And one group in particular that it helps the low-achieving students to function independently in the mainstream classroom. But it can also help the other students in the mainstream classroom, and it can help in a special education classroom. So it really has lots of benefits for all students in all classroom settings. This positive cycle of SLANT I borrowed from the PPT that I learned this from. So it has positive verbal and nonverbal behaviors by the students. So they're thinking about the material, but also their body language, and then also them talking and questioning and answering and commenting during the lesson is helpful as well. It sends messages of student interest and investment, again with the body language that we'll talk about, and with the mental questioning and mental commenting. What we talked about a little bit before, it increases social interactions between the student and the teacher, which will help create a better classroom atmosphere where students will learn more. It helps students to participate as well as elaborate. So not only are they asking students to ask questions, they're also asking students to come up with comments about what the teacher is saying, or to elaborate or comment on other ideas from other students. It can make the instruction become more pleasant and more interesting when students are, at least for me, I know when my students are engaged, it makes teaching more pleasant and more interesting. And then again, with the students interacting with each other and commenting positively on what other people have to say. And that way, more learning occurs. Okay, so what is SLANT? SLANT, first, is sit up. So it's an appropriate body posture. So you're upright, but you're in a relaxed position. Non-examples would be slouching, or you have your students with their heads on their desk or heads in their hands. So those that are able to, they should be sitting upright in a relaxed position. The L is for lean forward, and this is just lean slightly towards the speaker. So you're not leaning back and sitting back like that, or you're not like over-exaggerating, leaning way too close over your desk or your table. Just a slight lean towards the speaker, whichever way the speaker might be, whether that's the teacher or another student answering a question. The A is for activate your thinking. So while someone is talking, teacher or student, you're going to self-question. You're going to ask questions in your mind. The teacher asks a question, or maybe you're wondering about something, you create an answer, or you ask questions to clarify or expand. So some examples would be, what is this about? What your teacher or student is talking about. And the answer, this is about, or you could answer, this is important because. So why do you want to remember the information that's being talked about? Some non-examples of activate your thinking would be a student who's talking to another student and not listening. playing with different objects on a desk, doodling, or even not asking a question if you don't understand. So if you don't understand what the teacher or student is talking about, just sitting there, not asking questions would be a non-example. The N is for name key information. So you verbally participate by answering questions or by making comments. So you answer questions the teacher or students ask, you share ideas, or you can add to another student's question or comment or idea. Some non-examples would be keeping your own knowledge to yourself, not commenting, not sharing or expanding, or putting other people down who are trying to help the class or comment or expand on an idea. T is track the talker. So this cues the student to look at the speaker. Excuse me. Whether that's the teacher that's speaking or the students who are talking. So you're going to have your eyes on whoever it is that is talking. So you are engaged and they know that you are engaged. Some non-examples would be staring out the window or looking at students who are not participating, or just kind of looking around the classroom. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the people who are talking. So some benefits of this, some learning strategies, curriculum. One is acquisition. So this helps with word identification, paraphrasing, self-questioning, visual imagery, things like that. This strategy also helps with storage. So it helps you with listening. It helps you with note-taking. Remember, why is this important? Why do I want to remember this? It helps with paired associates. It also helps with expression and demonstration of competence. So you are looking for information you want. And maybe you're going to hear something incorrect. So it's error monitoring. Maybe you're going to make connections with themes or connections with discussions and things like that. And it'll also help with test taking because you're more into the lesson and you are learning more. So it'll help with test taking as well. One thing I did want to show you on the other PowerPoint about this is the instructional sequence of the SLANT strategy. So there are seven stages. Stage 1 is the pretest. Did you master that? Yes? Okay, go on to another strategy. If you didn't, then you describe it, you model it, you verbally practice it. After you verbally practice it, then there's a post-test. So did you master it? No? Okay, go back to practicing then. If you did, you go to generalization. Did you master it? Nope. Go back to generalization. If you did, yes. Great. Then you can go on to another strategy. So I thought this one was very interesting. I teach preschool. Even at a preschool level, I can really see how this can be beneficial. I often tell my students when we're talking in a circle, please look at the person who is talking because it's polite, but also they know that you are listening as well. And we also talk about not leaning on our desks or lying on the floor, correct positions to learn. So I can see using this kind of a strategy even at a preschool level. So I learned a lot from this, and hopefully you learned a thing or two as well.